Happy 2026, everyone, and we are kickstarting Empower Podcast again with my good friend Terry Valler. Terry, how are you, my friend? Are you good?
Not too bad, thank you. Yourself, feel good?
Yeah, I am very good. Thank you very much. It's 2026, sir. Have you got any kind of New Year's resolutions, any training plans for yourself or martial arts or not martial arts related?
Well, to be fair, there's a bit of weight would be good. Well, at least improves the diet anyway. I just a couple of Jiu-Jitsu ones and a couple of JKD ones, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, perfect.
But yeah, write them down. Just try and play, set a plan up to achieve them. Really.
Yeah, fantastic. What's your focus at the moment then? Are you going more into the JKD or are you going more into the BJJ? Is there or are you trying to split your time?
It's 50-50.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Yeah. Is that easy to balance or is it kind of difficult to have like a jiu-jitsu head and then JKD head?
Well, so I split on days. So like on a Monday, in the morning I'd go to gym, and then I'd do some JKD stuff. In the evening I go to the Jiu-Jitsu comp class, and on a Tuesday and Thursday I switch it. So I go to the early morning classes of Jiu-Jitsu, then the evening Jiu-Jitsu classes, and then I have a friend that comes around. We do some like progressive fighting systems, JKD stuff.
Oh, very nice. Cool. You are a well-rounded man in the martial arts, I've got to say. You've been around a long time, but is it fair to say like you kind of go under the radar? You kind of just do your thing, you get your head down, and you just train, which I really like. And then suddenly it's like, boom, we've got my brown belt in BJJ, which, is no easy task. You're a full instructor, correct, under Jerry Petit JKD now, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, you're a man of much experience. Where did it all begin for you in terms of starting martial arts and kind of getting into that?
So, to be honest, it was a confidence thing, really. So I was 16, it just wasn't really that confident. So I started doing kung fu, because obviously the Bruce Lee stuff, right? So, I mean, I'm a lot older than you, so so I started watching Bruce Lee films, I think, in the late 80s, and then obviously well below. I was like 10, I think.
Yeah.
But and then just did kung fu, and then from kung fu, you kind of want a little bit more. You do it for a little while. You do loads of forms and drills, and you think, well, can I pull this off? And probably not. So then that led me to JKD and Rick Young and Eric Paulson.
So that's the way to start your JKD journey. If you're going to start your JKD journey, let's go with Rick Young and let's go with Eric Paulson. Yeah,
absolutely.
Perfect.
Rick come down to a kung fu club that I was training and teaching at in 97.
Okay.
I mean, 98. It was definitely one of them years. I forget now. And then I went to see Guru Dan in Edinburgh in that year. So it'd been about 98, I think.
Perfect. And what was your first experience with Guru like?
It never changed. It was just like, wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It's an inspiration. Maybe you're not going to take too much away from it, like technical wise. You might take one or two things if you can remember them, but it's the inspiration to go out there and train, which is I think the biggest thing to take away.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Someone's always said to me that if you take one or two things away from a seminar and you kind of implement them, then it's a seminar well worth going to, because you can't take everything even, can you? Like if it's a 4, 5, 6 hour seminar, you're not going to process everything and remember it again.
No. Just being around different levels of people. I think Guru seminars went in the like late 90s, early 2000s were like a great get together for everyone in the JKD community. You don't do that anymore. It doesn't really happen much anymore. The closest is probably Rick Faye's camps, but again, that's not everybody. Whereas Guru's had everybody, so it was always the whole 200 people there that you could. So twice a year you would catch up with. It was a nice time in the JKD UK scene anyway.
That family feel, yeah, perfect. Yeah. So when did you start moving over to the JKD side of it then, and what led you into that? You said that you kind of did the kung fu and the forms and things like that.
Yeah,
and then
98. So 98 was when Rick come down, then I went to Guru Dan's, and then I got to meet Neil McLeod in 99.
Great.
And then trained with him privately from probably 99, 2000. I think like 2000 up to I don't know, 2000. Well, I saw him last month, so
Okay, yeah, perfect.
So You know, for a while we did. It was consistent for a long time.
And what did the JKD look like then? Was it kind of a mix? Was it a concept style base of it, or was it more
Well,
the original kind of stuff that Bruce was
because
teaching?
because it was private lessons. I asked for I asked for the Jeet Kune Do because that was my
Okay.
goal. The base for me has always been understand Jin Fan or original Jeet Kune Do because really they are the same thing because there isn't much difference if you go to me it's like it's the next step. That's
Sure.
what changes the name. So if you go original Jeet Kune Do, then you're kind of just going to stick with that material, which is nothing wrong with that at all. And then, but the Jun Fan, if you go Jun Fan, it tends to means you're going to lead into the Jeet Kune Do being a more personal expression of stuff. So that's
Yeah,
how I
that's the
kind
way
of
that I've always seen it. Like the Jun Fan is the syllabus, and then the JKD is your personal development, I suppose, in terms of that. Would you kind of agree
yeah.
with that, or?
I do. I mean, I think you can call it original Jeet Kune Do and then still evolve. So I think you can call the Jun Fan Jeet Kune Do and still evolve into your own stuff, and it still be Jeet Kune Do. You know, it's defining Jeet Kune Do, right? So Jeet Kune Do is one of these arts where its mechanics means you can't define it.
Yeah.
You can define it in terms of it has a philosophy, it has
Yeah.
principles, okay, and it has certain techniques. But as the round table and many articles in the 90s with the original versus concepts, proof you can't
Sure.
define it. And some people don't even do the Jeet Kune Do. They just go, well, there's Bruce's art and philosophy, and I'll put my own techniques into that. Is that
Yeah.
Jeet Kune Do?
100%.
Possibly. But then they miss out on Bruce's art. So there we go.
Yeah, precisely. It's a different. I think you managed to kind of straddle the line quite well between the JKD original and the concepts guys. So, what's your experience been like that? Because, as we said at the start, you're a full instructor under the petite JKD kind of lineage, and then also you've trained with Guru Dan and things like that. So you've kind of
Yeah.
straddled the concept side of it as well. What's your thoughts on the JKD in that kind of almost two camps?
Yeah, I can't look at lineages really camps, but I think if you just look at it as Bruce Lee's stuff, they're really not dissimilar. And originally, I went to see Jerry for because obviously a lot of stuff was online in magazines at the time, Good Old Combat and
Yeah,
Martial Arts Illustrated. And I
sure.
was like, right. Well, and I remember talking to a guy in America who does run Purple Dragon martial arts over there on a forum, and he said, you know, and he was talking about Jerry coming over here. And I was like, right, you know what, I'm going to go to see him and train for the 5 days and and then see for myself what it, you know, what it, and yeah, I thought Jerry was fantastic as a person, as a martial artist. I thought he was really good, and I was kind of lucky because I got to have dinner with him, like, we were in the same hotel, so I got four or 5 nights. So I got
Nice.
a good personal time, and it was nice because with Fran as well, you know,
Yeah.
and you kind of go, and it's just great people and a
Which, to be
passion
fair,
for
is what it's all about, isn't it? You know,
yeah.
no matter what you're doing, whether it's JKD, whether it's karate, whether it's BJJ, at the end of the day, it's the people that keep you sticking around, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I found the same with Guru Dan, Rick, Bob.
Yeah.
Them Rick Fay, it's the same. Just you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Perfect.
So yeah, I mean I've because I don't do too much Kali. I like, you know, as opposed to a lot of people, I like a single stick and a single knife. That's why I like Paul Vunak's progressive fighting system because it's not. That's based on a lot of single stick and a lot of single knife. There's not a lot of double stick. There's not a
Yeah,
lot of
I agree
double.
with you. I like the single and I like the knife. Yeah, I think the double's
And
got
I
its
think
place for cognitive,
yeah,
but the
and
single and the
it
knife.
is good. This left hand, right hand thing, possibly.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's really hard to say yes or no because unless you scientifically put stuff, you know, test it out. It's
Yeah.
and put weigh stuff on your brain and try and put it on your hand and see if it has any effect. You really don't know, but you can only kind of body feel, right?
Yeah, and again, it depends what you want to do the art for, I suppose, isn't it? I know loads of people that do our Kali class at Empower, for example, that just want to do it for a bit of movement, and they want to do it for the cognitive
Mm.
side, and they want to do it just for a bit of the culture and the art side of it. But then you
I
look
mean,
at like the Paul Vunak side of it, and it is just like end the fight. this stick is now a crowbar. This knife is,
Yeah,
all about the knife defense and tapping and blah blah blah, and it's just destroy. So, do you want that self-defense side? Do you want that culture side? Do you want that art side? Or do you want
and
to
there's
do a
nothing
little
wrong
bit
with
of everything?
both, but you have to pick one over one has to be a majority and one has to be minority. You can't do it's difficult to do.
Yeah, it's like
All
switch your brain.
yeah, yeah.
And were you always kind of interested in the self-defense side of it, or were you more interested in the learning Bruce's art? Like we went to the Bruce Lee convention in September, didn't
Yes,
we? And we caught up there, which was nice. And it was interesting to
yes,
speak to people there because they fell into one of two camps. Either they were JKD kind of martial artists and they trained heavily, or they were Bruce Lee fans, or they were a
yes.
little bit. So maybe kind of we struggled maybe both of those areas and those camps, but there was
I,
almost like a
I
bit of
think
two
we
separate things.
yeah,
Say again,
I
sorry.
remember in the queue talking to two nice guys, and they were there. I was like, oh, where do you train? Because I just associate if you're a fan of Bruce Lee, you do the martial art right there.
Yeah,
And they were like, oh,
exactly.
we just they weren't, and I was like, okay, interesting. It um, but yeah, it was good to catch up. It was a nice catch up with a lot of people. There's a few people that I hadn't seen for a while or I hadn't seen before, so that
Yeah,
was
it was a
nice to
cool
see.
event, definitely.
Yeah, it was a good event. Hopefully, do more. So
Yeah, fingers
yeah.
crossed. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, would you going onto the self defense side of it, or were you more interested in the art and the Bruce Lee?
I originally, I think I kind of, I started with the self defense stuff, and then
Mhm.
kind of went into the art. I think I remember Guru Bob in Dartford saying, I think it's 2002, possibly around about then, saying because we were it was a bit more going towards the art. And he goes, I remember him talking about
Yeah.
being a Dan and being a Bruce and stuff, and I was like, okay, so kind of. And as I started doing the doors and the MMA, I started going back to the core, trying to be a bit more efficient with the fighting side of stuff.
Yeah. When did you kind of make that decision to get into the MMA, the side of it, then, and to kind of go and work on the doors? Was that a conscious decision, or did you kind of fall into it and go, well, we'll do it?
The MMA kind of, I had students because I was teaching at the time, so they wanted
Yeah.
to do it. So they did it, and I was like, well, if they're going to do it, and I'm going to teach it, I'm going to. And I stopped teaching. I thought, well, I might as well fight myself now. So that's what I
Sure.
did. The doors was just by accident. I was coaching at MMA shows and talking to the head doorman who owned the company about martial arts over a period of about 2 or 3 years. And then one day he said, do you want to come and do some door stuff? And then just went from there and just deep dived into it from there.
Perfect. How did you find the MMA side of it? Obviously, having your background and things like that, and training in the JKD side of it, and then going into the competitive side. Was it difficult to then go into that competitive side, or was it quite a natural kind of
Well,
progression?
I tried keeping to the JKD principles. So I would always fight right lead.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Even though you're right-handed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes tactically I had to switch.
Yeah.
I remember there one guy was tall guy, long legs, and then he was inside kicking because I was right
Yeah.
lead. He was so and I wanted to take him down, so I had to go left lead so I could catch his kick. Cause it
So
wasn't working.
adaptability again. Yeah.
So I had to adapt it mid fight for that. But generally, that's what I tried to do.
Perfect. And what about your personality? Because like you're quite a quiet, kind of humble guy, I'd say. So did that competitive nature come out of you when you were doing the MMA side of it? Were you,
To me,
were you?
not really. It was a way of testing myself.
Yeah. Perfect.
Uh,
You enjoy it?
I, yeah, unless I was getting ground and pounded or beaten up, it was all right.
Yeah, it's less fun.
Some fights were better than others. You know, sometimes you're on the ground going, well, I always didn't what am I signed up for? But
Why am I doing this?
yeah, sometimes it went all right, and sometimes it went totally the opposite way.
Yeah, such is life, I suppose.
Yeah, and
But
again, I'm not the best fighter in the world, so it's by very far. But so to me, I was never going to get anywhere with it. It was just a case of going right. Let's just and the doors as well. It's the same thing. You can go from sport to self defense, and there isn't really there is a good crossover. People said there was a little bit unless you do both in your finals. There's a big crossover between the two. You know, obviously there's outside influences, but the general the general kind of feelings and the techniques were quite similar. The adrenaline rushes, you learn, whether you do the doors or the cage, you do that enough, the adrenaline rushes disappear. Because I like the doors, not so much for the fun, because they were mostly drunk people, just idiots. But the fact that they're in your face, threatening you, just want to smash you with bottles, they're threatening you, basically. And the way you could control your adrenaline and your nerves and stuff, and then you're calmer. And then the same when you're stepping, when you're going out to the fight, and then your music's going, and you're walking out, and then you got the cage, or and you're standing there. First 2 times, it's like, everything's slow motion. You're like, this is not great. And then at second, third time, you're like, okay, I've done this now. I'm not going to die. It's all right.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry?
Was that a natural thing then? Do you think it's quite natural for you to control that emotion and control that adrenal rush? Because I know some people that really shit themselves or really brick it before fights and will vomit and all sorts, and then the nerves really get to them. But for you, is it not quite that much of an issue? Or?
No, I don't think so. First fight and first real trouble on the door when it was like, I don't know, 15-man brawl, I think it was. Well, men and women, just everyone for everyone, right?
Yeah.
You're that first time, both times I felt was like, you still do it because you're there, but you're still like. But as the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth time, you're like, you still get a bit nervous when you walk into the venue or you walk into the cage, but it doesn't kick in as much, and you can keep relaxed and calm. So it's always it's a good tool to have, that controlling your adrenaline. So there's nice ways of testing it.
Yeah, perfect. What was your first night like on the doors then? You said that you were kind of chatting with the MMA, or you were chatting at the MMA events, and then kind of fell into it.
So, well, the first night, I think the first few months, because I was new, I got kind of, they always put you in the shit spot. I was in. I was in Burger King right now. I don't know if you ever done the doors or do you know it, but
I've done a bit.
Food restaurants are the worst, because you get 3 hours of nothing, and then you got a full hour of it kicking off.
Right.
Because you get people, their last hour, because they did it so that the clubs closed just before the restaurant closed, just before the club did. But all the people who've been kicked out will come out early that have so they all go there, and then they eat each other and bump each other. It's chaos that last hour, but it's fun. So. Yeah.
And you enjoyed it? Or you still do enjoy it? You're still doing it, yeah, right?
Occasionally, I'll come out of retirement if you want for this Christmas, because I did a venue that I don't mind doing. It's not, and it's funny because there was a guy on the second night, and we moved him out. His the last two people could go, and as he's trying to walk him out, he started trying to go like this, and he just. You just don't react. Just shut the doors in his face, because
nope, not today.
I'm not even going to react to this. It's like, yeah, man, good night. Done.
Not going to entertain it. Shut the door in your face. Done.
Yeah, I mean, I used to when I got into it big time. I enjoyed it. You try and go to the roughest clubs and stuff, and just because it's a good way, of controlling stuff and testing stuff as well. You can test your wrestling, you can test your grappling, you can test your trapping. Not necessarily beating people up, but you can, and you can test your wrist locking. You get to positions where you can put the locks on, okay, you've got control, and so it's a good way. Both ways are always a good, I think.
Was there anything that surprised you then when you were kind of testing things on the door compared to what you were doing in your martial arts classes? Like, how well did it translate what you were doing, kind of not in traditional martial arts because you weren't training it, but in terms of training a martial art compared to doing door?
I think because we're doing a lot of live training, a lot of wrestling, a lot of stand up, a lot of ground, a lot of kickboxing. It translated okay. A couple, there's a few adaptations, but I don't think there was that many. I was quite okay.
And what would you say your speciality was? Was it kind of closing it down? Was it the trapping
Yeah,
aspect of it? Was
it's
it the
definitely
wrestling aspect
trapping to
of it?
clinch. Yeah, got short arms, so boxing's
Preach. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
Short guys, we
it's the
like the
fact.
trapping wrestling stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just get me close and I'm all right.
What's your thoughts on trapping then? Because I've heard different people say like trapping doesn't work. Trapping doesn't work in this instance. It won't work in this instance. You don't see trapping in the cage. You don't see trapping in MMA. But I've also seen trapping used. I've used a little bit of trapping before as well, and I've seen it used to great effect. So yeah, what's your thoughts as someone that's got that
Well,
experience?
so at once, if you're sparring, it's very
Mm.
difficult because everyone's trying to jab him back, right? It just
Yeah.
you can follow it in, fine. There's that way of doing it. But I found on the doors and and in the ring and even in MMA sparring when you went, if people were trying to take your head off, it worked
Okay. Yeah. Well, they're
because they were
committed.
pushing through. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't flicking it. They were like really trying to hit you. So there was no
Yeah.
flicking. It was like I'm going to pin my head, my fist through your face is what they were trying to do, and
Yeah. They've
then
got
the
the
pat cell would work, and then the lock cell from there. So
Okay. So just the
if they're
traditional
trying
pat
to hit
style
you hard,
lockdown.
yeah, sparring, no, because you're like, oh, it's gone. But
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then,
So you got to trap it after the fact, almost like yeah. If the hand
yeah,
pulls back, then you trap. Yeah.
whereas if they're trying to take your head off, they're not trying to pull the head arm back.
No, because
So
they've committed their weight to the punch, and then there's
yeah,
more
so there's
opportunity.
more. Yeah, their arms there longer.
Interesting. Where did your kind of JKD journey go from then? So you've kind of been introduced to JKD through Rick Young, through Eric Paulson, through Guru Dan.
Yeah,
You trained private classes with Neil. And
yeah.
then when was the point that you were like, yeah, this is where I really want to kind of take my training for the next, however many 10, 20, 30 years? And
I think from '98 was when I went.
okay.
This is it. This is it. So the JKD to me is always going to be the number one, and
Okay.
Jiu-Jitsu is probably a very close number two.
Yeah, sure.
It's a shame that I wish we lived in America because having Eric on the doorstep would be fantastic. If yeah, it's just having Rick Young would be quite fantastic too. I'll bring it down.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, if only we were up in Edinburgh, right? There every day.
Yeah, I tried persuading my other half to move to Edinburgh. That didn't go down. But it's worth a shot, isn't it?
Maybe one day. Yeah, let's get over there as much as you can.
Yeah. But yeah, since '98 is JKD's always been my thing.
Perfect. And what about coaching then? When did you start getting into coaching?
I think I was teaching kung fu, like long fist kung fu, probably in '98. I started that, and then I think 2000 I dropped it, and then just went straight into Jeet Kune Do, and then started teaching Jeet Kune Do in 2002, 2003, and then I did that to 2012, and I taught full time for a while as well, for 3 or 4 years, and then the class I had got moved. The building got closed down, and I was trying to find other venues. Numbers weren't great. I was going outside of the area, trying to. There's guys, friends that had gyms in rural areas were really great, but there was just the people couldn't travel.
Sure.
And then I broke up my wife at the time in 2012. I closed the club down, and I taught 4 people. Sometimes I had a gig for a little while in another place in Guildford, and I've taught a few seminars and stuff, or taught like Ian Gould, who kindly asked me to do a class for him a few months ago
Good
now.
old Ian. Yeah.
Love it. And so I do them now and again, but it's just not my thing anymore. I'm trying to get better myself. I'm trying to be less crap than I was yesterday. Do you know?
I wouldn't say you're crap in any way, my friend, but yeah, I've trained you before. You're
Thank
definitely
you.
not
But
crap.
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everything's got. I want to be better. I want to be better at jiu-jitsu. I want my black belt within the next 2 years if I can. Maybe 3 years.
Okay.
But do you know, it's like because I've got 1 stripe on my brown belt now. So
It's there now, isn't it? It's like, yeah.
Yeah, I started doing jiu-jitsu with Andy Roberts in 2007, and I'd say like Eric's probably my biggest coach grappling coach influence.
Yeah.
Followed now, it's Jay Butler and David Newman,
Yeah.
and Dave's got the instructors Tom and Nathan. They're phenomenal. Jay, going to jiu-jitsu quickly.
Yeah.
We have Jay. I'm very lucky because not only have David Newman, there's a JKD connection there.
Yeah.
Jay's very open, so he from his comps he's done in the past and his other learning, he learns from everybody and brings it to the class and shows us. So he's a very open-minded instructor, but he's also a fantastic coach's coach, because his other coaches, Nathan, Tom, has another a younger coach just started called Tom, and he's fantastic a coach as well. So it's a great gym to be at, because the very same kind of JKD philosophy is in essence, but just a fantastic coaching team as well. But but then as well as Eric, the biggest influence in my early jiu-jitsu, and for forever really, would be Andy Roberts, because he was fantastic when I first started, and it got me, from being utter shit to just a little bit less than utter shit.
Which is always the goal, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah,
and a little bit less shit.
Yeah, so I'm always gonna be thankful for him going good. But where I am now is probably the place where I need to be with Jay and the team that he has there, and obviously all the students are fantastic anyway. So it's a good club to be of, and it's 5 minutes down the road. So I'm very lucky from the jiu-jitsu side of things. So I would love to get my bout under Jay and David Newman. That's my Brazilian jiu-jitsu goal.
Yeah, perfect. How come you started the BJJ? Was that due to the MMA that you were training?
No, I did it before that. I just loved grappling. I think maybe because of size, but I enjoy it. I think it's fantastic. And I'm no gi. I'm much more of a no gi person. And then I started jiu-jitsu in 2007 doing gi, and I kind of 2009, 2010 I stopped and just did CSW when I could.
Okay.
With Eric, because I mean, wow, what a grappler, right? Everything.
Yeah, 100%. Like OG.
Yeah, just like. And then of course in everybody you've got Rick, who is just phenomenal too, right? But Eric's curriculum, Eric's teaching style, his stuff, his material, was you could see Sealat in there, you could see the carving footwork in there, you could see judo, jiu-jitsu, shudo.
He's got such a martial arts brain, hasn't he? And then such a way of putting everything together. And then obviously he's tried and tested everything as well. So yeah, he's legit.
Yeah. So it's funny. I don't know about yourself, but when I do no-gi, I can see a lot of Sealat in there.
Yeah. Like with because I'm still baby white belt, and I've obviously been out for a couple of weeks now because of my knee and things. But I've always last year focused on the gi and then competed in the gi because it was a little bit slower for me, and I could control it a little bit better in terms of my knee and making sure it was all right. But now that's been operated on things, I want to look at the no gi more, because I think it's just one. Yeah, I think it's a bit of an interesting area, like you said, to kind of go in with the Kali footwork, look at a bit of the Silat sweeps, see if you can pull them off a little bit, the judo stuff as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this year, I think, with it.
I mean, I try and I took a couple of sweeps from Rita Sawanda down. She did a seminar down at Paul Finn's place a while ago again, and she showed us a couple of hair and mouth takedowns, and I use them all the time. I use them from a fouled shoot. So if you go like Eric used to do like a jab to the head, body shot, head hook, shoot. Nice, like 1, 2, 3 levels, and then you could hide that shoot.
Mix it up. Yeah,
and it works really well. And then if the single leg or the double leg doesn't work, then these two takedowns from the Sealat work brilliantly. They just blend in, but it also works from Delahiva in X Guard.
Okay.
Nice. So and because if you're talking from a JKD point of view, and the grappling's always a bit of a controversial thing, but the Delahiva and X Guard are great if you're on your back and they're standing, because they control their hips and it keeps you away from their punching range. Obviously, you can't sit there and just have a lunch and enjoy it and
Chill out, your hands behind your back.
yeah, and you're not, and you know, and aside away from jiu-jitsu, you can't try and take the back, and so you've got to sweep and get back up, right? But if again from the De La Riva, if the two CLAT switches, takedowns work brilliantly from the De La Riva because you pull out and then you do the two moves. So they work from a wrestling point of view and they work from a ground on your back jiu-jitsu point of view.
You're gonna have to show me those next time we catch up.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just think they work really well, and they work with the De La Riva because De La Riva's ex-guy, and that's probably my thing last year was like, how can I stop someone punching me in the ground? Because I've been on the dance floor sometimes, mate, not dancing because I can't do that shit, but being where you flipped over and people's blood, beer, whatever else is on the dance floor, you don't even think about it really.
Yeah.
But and you do, it's like. You don't want to go to the ground, but it happens.
Yeah.
And then what if there's one or two? You got to. If there's two or three people, you might get hit a couple of times. It's life, but these moves will allow you to at least have a method of getting up quickly.
Yeah, sure, perfect. Did you compete in jiu-jitsu as well?
No, I haven't. I have to. I've got to do one, I think. So I will do that this year.
What kind of player are you? Are you top? Are you bottom?
At the moment, last year I've been working bottom. A guard puller if you want on the moment because I'm just working my bot from when I stand and I'm on the bottom. That's what I've been working off. But if I was ideally, I like to be on top, because side control is probably my favourite position because then you can, if you take it from a jiu-jitsu point of view, you've got a few things. Then wrist locks. I love wrist locks. I'll wrist lock everybody.
You're that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mrs. tried taking a controller off me yesterday. Wrist lock test.
Wrist lock. Thank you. Have that.
But yeah. So top. If I want, and then if you're talking about jiu-jitsu stuff. But it's just like wrestling as well. Should be on top.
Yeah, perfect. So it all kind of fits together for you in terms of the Silat, the JKD, the wrestling, the jiu-jitsu. You've kind of managed to put it all and make your own game, which I suppose is the JKD way of doing it.
Yeah. And I'm trying anyway. And it's not a lot. To be honest with you, if it's X guard, De La Riva guard, and the two CLAT sweeps, and the De La Riva sweeps. So the sweeps from De La Riva guard, and then but from a jiu-jitsu art point of view, it's then can I take the back? Can I get to the leg lock position? Can I, and that's the self-perfection side of it. If you want to use Runets. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, that's kind of it, mate. Really.
Do you think you'd ever go back to like full-time teaching?
No. I might do the occasional classes if someone wants me to help do a class on or something. But I think maybe one-to-ones. But I maybe, but probably I don't know. Not full-time teaching. I just enjoy my own training and then work obviously as well because it depends what I'm doing because I do a lot of different things with my work. At the moment, I'm on a nice little cushy 8 to 4 job in an office for a little while. But then if I'm doing TV and movie work with cast and crew, I'm out a lot of the day and night, and you just don't know when that is. So you can't commit to classes because you don't know if you're going to be back in time. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. What's the TV and movie work?
So I've done stuff for Amazon. TV stuff, not deliveries. People, every time I say Amazon, people seem to be deliveries.
Bing bong.
Right. So Amazon Prime, I've done stuff for Netflix, Lucasfilms. Lucasfilms was the longest one I had, and I kind of enjoyed that. It was all right. Yeah, really, just I suppose it's Netflix, Lucasfilms, Amazon, whatever else, ITV. I didn't tend to do BBC or ITV much. My stuff seemed to be like just mainly movies.
Perfect. And what's that experience like? Is it fun? Do you enjoy it? Do you want to do more of that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I did. I mean, I did enjoy this. Yeah, it was fun. It did, I was kind of lucky with a lot of Star Wars stuff I did because I was with the stunt team. So
Cool.
I was like, yeah, this is great. So if I had to pick the main unit, then I'd do all stunt or the second unit, which is generally the stunt team. I'd just go with the stunt team because I knew most of them by their
Yeah,
second
yeah.
film. I was with them a long. When we did Solo, I think we did the Han Solo film. I was with them for a year and a half, I think.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So you get
Because
to know
they,
people quite well then.
yeah, because they and there was one of Guru's students was over for 3 months doing some scenes. It's funny because when you first come in, I think we sat in the back of the studio talking Jeet Kune Do and Kai for about 2 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's good fun. Yeah, but it's commitment. So the training dies down. So you really have to,
Yeah, 100%. What?
you know.
Yeah, it's clear that obviously you're so focused on your own training then. So what are your kind of goals for 2026 and what's your focus, your progression looking like and
Well, I
what,
like to
what do you
get
kind of want for your martial arts?
just just to try and get better. I know it sounds cliche, but
Mm.
just with the PFS, just to get progress with that as best I can. With Paul Starkey in Hull and proving that next year in Los Angeles. But so the PFS, the MKG stuff would be
Yeah.
ideal. Probably I'd like to go and see Aaron more. Hopefully this year I have a bit more time to go down and see him for the John fan.
Let me know when you go. I'll try and meet up with you.
Yeah, sure, man. We good. That's got to be a goal this year. See Guru Bob when I can.
Yeah.
Edinburgh would be lovely. Um,
Yeah.
but you kind of, you're limited with time and money, right? So
Sure. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it?
you got to kind of pick a couple, and then the jiu-jitsu, just trying to improve my passing game would be one, and get tapped out less would be ideal as well.
It's
But my
everyone's game.
tapping game,
Tap more,
my
tap
tapping
less.
game's on 20. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But at least my tapping game's on point. I can tap from any
Yeah,
angle.
yeah, yeah. Left hand gets going.
But yeah, I see some. The jiu-jitsu it'd be nice to progress with that as well.
Yeah.
But that's just getting on the mat and doing it, and just like the JK, getting on the mat and doing it.
Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? Yeah, the more you train, the more you can progress, and then just have those little goals, I suppose, and then focus towards them. And then, always says if you write them down, it's more likely to happen and things like that. And then, yeah, get it stuck in your head and then put the effort in. Like kind of reverse engineer it, I suppose, don't you? So you go, right, I want to get
Yeah,
my black belt in BJJ in, I don't know, 2, 3 years or whatever for you. And then you go,
yeah,
okay, how can I do that? How many times a week can I train? Can I compete? Can I do this? And then,
yeah.
yeah. So,
And what the goal? Yeah, passing the goal, right? And like yourself, like what's the goal to get to? What do you need to get to blue belt? Because there's no specific curriculum, is there? So you kind of go, right, is my passing game okay? Is my defense game okay? So yeah, and because I always find
yeah.
that
When you started your jiu-jitsu journey, did you think that you kind of get this far when you started the jiu-jitsu journey, or were you doing it just as a kind of, I just want to learn more? Was the belts kind of in your mind?
I think not at first, but when you kind of get stripes on your blue white belt, you're like, you see that blue belt coming, don't you? Do you know what I mean? And then you get your stripes on your blue belt, and you think, oh, the purple belt's close. It's there.
Yeah.
It's like, I had my blue belt from I think 13 years.
Yeah, well, that's nearly beaten Eric. I think Eric had 17
Yeah,
years at his blue belt, didn't he? Yeah, I saw something on
yeah,
Facebook the other day that said about that. 17 years. So yeah, you're not
yeah,
too far off with 13 years. It's such a long
yeah,
journey though, isn't it, BJJ? And it's such a hard journey, I think, which is why so many
yeah.
people don't reach that stage of either
That's
brown belt,
that's
even purple belts, there's not many. And then brown belts, there's definitely not a lot. And then black belts, it's such a small percentage compared to the amount of people that do martial arts or even the amount of people that start jiu-jitsu.
I mean, yeah. And the craziness about jiu-jitsu is like how it's expanded so much in the last, I want to say 10 years, maybe. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Because when I first started, there was a club in Birmingham called the Custard Factory. I think there was maybe one in
Right. Yeah,
London.
yeah.
I think that was the
Yeah.
only two.
Okay.
And then Mauricio come over with Hodja,
Yeah.
and that was '98 at Rick's, and then Hodja come over a few years later, Mauricio, and then started Roger Gracie Academy, and then other people started coming over and it's great. But it's great to see, because you got like young kids doing a proper high. I mean, especially Jay, some of the guys and girls there, the kids there, are phenomenal. They're just putting stuff off that 10 years ago you never have done. You never,
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, and it's like that. I wish I was their age now, because it's so much better.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, I always thought, I wish I'd started jiu-jitsu at 10 years old instead of doing other things or whatever. But you can only start when you start, don't you?
Well, that's it. I mean, I kind of put the jiu-jitsu aside in the early 2000s to go into the JKD and the Kali more, and yeah, but it's fine, because I don't just the JKD fine, but the Kali, obviously I don't do as much as I did the Jim Fan or the JKD wouldn't quite. But I don't regret the decision. There's not much you can do even if I did, right?
No, I think that's it. Perfect. Yeah, there's no point in regretting it, is there? This is where you are now, and yeah, there's no point in regretting it. Maybe all those paths have led you to the one you're on now.
Yeah, I think you'll know your experience as well. The more you do stuff, and the more you evaluate, then you can just go down a different path, and you'll get your path would have gone a different route maybe before. You might have ended up at the same point if you went a different route. You just have to just go by what you think and feel what's right for you at the time. Really.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's it, kind of. Then I think so. Yeah, Terry, thank you so much for being the first guest of the 2026 one on. And I've warmed up for another year of hopefully good podcasts and stuff. I hope to catch up with you in the year, definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm sure we'll see you on a seminar or whatever. And
yes.
Take care of yourself, Terry. And thank you so much for being the first one for 2026.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the invite, man. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries, buddy. Thank you.
Cheers, bud.